Instead of the introduction to this video, I will sing a traditional religious song from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Kad procvatu behari, kad dunjaluk zažmiri, duša čežnjom procvili, davno smo se rastali. Allah, Allah, kala, Allah, Allah, Jalala, Allah, Allahu Vala, La ilahe illallah. Ovo nebo nad nama sjena je od zastora, 7 kata nebesa usred našije prsa. Proljeće je u nama kad se topi suzama i pustinja procvjeta, nudeć sliku dženeta. Many times I've asked myself, what is Islam to me? And I don't have a clear answer for it. It is a feeling, it is like a friend that is just there whenever you need him or her. I was born in former Yugoslavia. Most of you know about it by now. My home is now in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Former Yugoslavia does not exist anymore. We were a country that consisted of 6, 7, 8 countries. There was a Slovenia, there was Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Serbia, Kosovo, Vojvodina and Macedonia. Albania was always a part of our union, even though it was never officially a member of former Yugoslavia. But by the same extent, Bulgaria, Romania, Greece, Turkey, Austria, Germany, they are all Balkan countries. We have so much more in common than anybody else. I was raised by a communist party. My father was a member of communist party and religion was strictly prohibited. At home, my mother, my late mother and my late grandmother would sometimes talk to me about Islam. They would teach me about the important lessons that came out of Quran. And I enjoyed it. But I was always a little bit different. In my family, I have members of Roman Catholic, Muslim, even Romani origin. It was always impossible to me to choose just one side. I never wanted to be just a man or just a woman or just a communist or a capitalist, a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew or anything like that. Even in music, I play the guitar, I play the bass, I play the trumpet, I play the piano, I sing. More than anything else, I hate divisions. And this is why communism was kind of dear to my heart, because everybody was supposed to be equal in it. This is why I joined the Yugoslav army and went to military college to become an officer in Yugoslav army, because I believed that in that army we would all be the same, that there would be equality. I was wrong. Anything touched by human is not perfect. By definition, we are not perfect, thus our organizations are not perfect. And That's maybe okay. Everybody remembers the story of Babel. God purposely made us different so we respect each other, so we learn things from each other. And I respect that as well. I respect everybody's differences. Today is April 1st. It is officially a Fool's Day in the world, but it is also the first evening of the Ramadan in this year. A lot of people around the world will start fasting from tomorrow, and they will go on for 30 days, fasting from sunrise to sunset. Fasting is not just abstinence of food and water. There is a spiritual element to it. When you're fasting, you cannot have impure thoughts. You cannot wish evil upon others. You cannot fight wars. You cannot kill. Ramadan is supposed to be a time when one turns to oneself. The whole term jihad is a holy war that you fight against yourself. In all cultures and traditions, we had stories of two wolves that we have within ourselves. The story of the devil and the God. So you always try to go with the good side, with the God side. Unfortunately, we know that a human is a combination of both elements. We are all equally God and equally human. To be human means to be devil. We all have needs and wants and desires that don't go really well with what our religious leaders and books are asking us to do. I'm now 46 years old and I have managed to fast 3 times in my life. I was able to fast for the whole month. It wasn't easy, but it was rewarding. While living in South Korea, I used to perform music during the day and I would teach my classes in the morning. I was a professor there. I had a family. I would go out, do things, feed my kids. And I was still able to fast, not eat, don't drink water, and do all these things. I always believe that there is that mind over matter when it comes to our humanity. We are capable of so much more. We are capable of such amazing things. And if nothing, Ramadan is showing us that we are capable of great feats, that we can do so much more. Throughout the world, in many religions, people fast for various reasons. Even people that are not religious believe and adhere to these fasting regimens because it is really good for your body to clear yourself of toxins and other things. What happens when you fast is that your body starts consuming the sick cells or fat that is accumulated in your body. Truly, I'm yet to meet, a devout Muslim who is, overweight. Not that I'm dissing on people who are overweight. I'm overweight. Everybody has a reason for their own condition, and it has nothing to do with your own lifestyle. A lot of times, most of the time, it is genetic. I am definitely a living proof of it. It has to do with your lifestyle as well. It has to do with a lot of different things. If you decide to pray 5 times a day, that means that 5 times a day you check in with yourself. You actually take a ritual wash. You prepare yourself mentally. You focus on that prayer and you perform the actual prayer, which is very physical. So if 5 times a day you wash yourself, you prepare yourself mentally and do these physical exercises, which we call prayers, your best kind, which is what they say here in Newfoundland. Uh, truly, truly, there is so much beauty within Islam that I am definitely testifying and I'm a witness to it. My personal problem is that I don't want to have differences between the people. Because we are not perfect, even though our religions might be perfect, we tend to misconstruct and misuse our religion, whether it's Christianity or Islam or Buddhism. People pick and choose from religions, like from this big smorgasbord or buffet table, and I'm guilty of that for sure. Nevertheless, there is definitely beauty in Ramadan, and I truly respect people who go with their own religion and who try to adhere to doctrines and teachings of it. But again, because we are not perfect, we tend to abuse our own religion for our own benefit. I remember growing up in former Yugoslavia, as I said earlier, we were raised to be communists. So we were encouraged to, let's say, eat everything, to drink everything, to fit in. We didn't want the differences to be visible. And somehow we kind of went with it. We used to buy pork and we would hide in our own apartments and make sure the door was locked every time we would consume pork products, so our neighbors wouldn't come in and see us doing that. The same thing goes with alcohol. Alcohol was consumed in my family, pork was consumed in my family. We were just like all the other Yugoslavs. I believe that most of Yugoslavs or most of South Slavs were doing exactly the same. They didn't want anything to come between the neighbors. We didn't want to be different. We wanted to be the same. Later on, when the war started, a lot of times we would ask ourselves, did this horrible war happen to us because we drank alcohol, because we did not pray, because we ate pork? These are some very difficult questions. We ask ourselves always the same thing. Why did this happen? Why did that happen? The answer is why not? It is all a teaching moment. It is all an experience necessary in order to move us to a place where we should be. Where we are going, it is up to us. I honestly believe that that place is going to be a better place than this is. But it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. Do we change everything? No. Do we accept everything from the past? Also, no. That is my answer. Many people would disagree with me. A lot of Christians, a lot of Jewish families, a lot of Muslim families and Buddhist families live their lives strictly adhering to their own religions. Almost to a fault. Because they take that higher moral stand and they say, I do this, God is going to save me, but whatever happens to you is your own mistake or your own problem. True religious people never judge others. That is the key to a success of our humanity. This non-judgmental and radically accepted values that we take for granted. We must be able to accept each other for whoever and whatever we are. And that is fine. Again, I was born a Muslim. I was raised as a communist. I spent most of my life with Christians. I remember during my interview at a private Christian university in South Korea, they asked me if I had problems attending a church. And instead of giving them the answer, I sang Amazing Grace during my interview, and I was immediately accepted into the university. And for next 10 years, I attended church services every Sunday, and I would go to mosque almost every Friday. And then whenever my family would have time, we would visit Buddhist temples. My best friend was a Buddhist, a hardcore Buddhist, and I learned the meditation techniques from him. We attended the temple stays together. Excuse me. I felt equally comfortable in all these places. There is that peace that overcomes you when you attend a church service. So on Sundays, when you go there, you just feel safe. You feel connected. You feel like you belong. Nobody's asking you, why are you there? What are you going to do? What are you trying to accomplish? You don't have to justify anything. The same goes to the mosque. Every time I would attend a prayer at the local mosque, most of my friends and my neighbors knew that I had no idea how to pray correctly. But we would pray together, and that togetherness brought us, closer to each other and closer to whatever life is. The same goes with Buddhists. During the meditation, when you go to a temple, everybody meditates at the same time. In that unity, you feel connected, you feel safe, you feel accepted. And this is exactly what religion used to be able to offer us. We have become very skeptical towards it. We have become very cynical, not only towards religion, but towards everything else. Most of the jokes these days I hear from my unmarried friends, whom I have a lot, is that, this is a song for my future ex-wife or something like that. People don't believe in basic things, basic ideas of life. And that is sad. When you stop believing in God, you stop believing in yourself, you stop believing in all the institutions formed by God. And we haven't found a proper substitute for it. We have atheism, we have agnosticism, Perhaps I can say that I'm agnostic because I don't know whether this is real or not. But at the same time, I've asked for miracles so many times, and I have received them. I have. I thought I would never, ever get married. I was disillusioned, and somehow I found, a love of my life, and we spent years living together. We raised 2 beautiful children. Then we separated, and that's fine. But I asked for that miracle, and I was given one. Excuse me. Excuse me. She was my miracle. 2 children are also my miracles. The fact that I was an officer in Yugoslav army and I survived the war was a miracle. I've asked for these things. I used to challenge God and the destiny and the universe by running red lights on my bicycle. I believed that there was a higher purpose to my life, and I would just release the control of my own life, challenge God to see, okay, God, if you really want me to live, to be happy and prosperous, you save me from these stupid things that I'm doing. And God and the universe provided many times. Miracles are there all around us. How we see them and how we perceive them, that's up to us. Every single thing, a tree, a leaf, a flower, a piece of music, our own eyes, are a proof of something bigger than all of us. Something that unites us more than divides us. A lot of times I asked myself whether these different religions are needed, because as you can see, the division is the only constant within our history. Whether we have Russians and Ukrainians, or Bosnians and Serbians, Americans and Canadians, we are all the same people. Funny thing is that all Caucasians come from Caucasus mountains in Russia. So by that definition, we are all Russians. It is funny. It is funny to think about it. It is not funny in real life. Real life is extremely complicated. Extremely complicated. We are still dealing with a lot of different things that we don't know how to address. We do know that family has fallen apart. We do know that 90% of children have been abused at some point, and that we are all growing up with traumas of our childhood. We have all been abused, we have all been used, and we have done the same. To a lesser or a higher degree. We all know what is right, we all know what is wrong. I have a song about it called Right and Wrong. However, Rumi, one of the greatest philosophers of Islamic world, said that beyond right and wrong there is a field, and I will meet you there. One day when you realize that God is devil and devil is God, and that together they are human. This is who we are. The plus and the minus, the man and the woman. This is why, for me, sticking with one religion is difficult. It is also difficult because I'm a human and I fail to continue to be a human. Because I choose a lot of times myself, I choose an easy way out. Fasting is not easy. A way to salvation is not an easy one. A road to success is a difficult one. We say per aspera ad astra. One of my episodes of Newfound Bosnians is titled that, per aspera ad astra, over the thorns to the stars. An easy way will not get you where you want to go, whether that is love, religion, music, or anything else. This is why the concept of suffering has been embedded into every religion. We believe that somehow to reach God we have to suffer. In Islam we have whirling dervishes. These are people that dance, and by whirling around for an hour at a time. There's a part of Islam which is represented by Albanians and Bosnians to a degree. An imam or a priest, a Muslim priest in Albania will greet you with a bottle of homemade brandy. So when you go in to talk to a Muslim priest in Albania, or even in Bosnia, again, not all of them are the same, will sit down with you, have a couple of shots of brandy. They will talk about whatever is bothering you and try to find a solution. They believe that This awake state is actually death. When you are asleep, when you are drunk, you are awake. Because your logical part of yourself is preventing you from entering the unknown, the mythical, the mystical, the mysterious part of the universe. A place where astral projections, a place where astral traveling, telecommunication, teleportation, telekinesis, or whatever these things are possible. You can communicate with others without anything. I know. Every time I'm driving down the road and I see a beautiful girl and I stare at her, she turns around because she knows that I'm staring at her. I did not have to tell her, send her a message. She knows. We have so much more to ourselves than we are aware of, and that's the beautiful part. It just tells us that there is no end to our progress, that we are going to be progressing and changing, and that's the beautiful part. All the religions that we have now are only, 2,000 years old or less. Islam started in 600, so it's 1300, 1400 years old. Excuse me. Before we had Mayas, Aztecs, God knows what. And God knows what we will have in the future. I strongly believe in integration of humanity and technology. I believe in a human 2.0, a sort of emergement of humanity with technology, in which we use technology for our own benefit. Why not? Why not have the internet of all things? Why not use technology to benefit our social life, our physical life, our mental life? Unfortunately, we are a long ways from that. Our progress is very, very, very slow. Look how long it took fish to come out of the ocean to become a monkey, and then how long it took monkey to become a human. It is a long and slow process, but it is a beautiful one. Unfortunately, pain and suffering again seems to be one of the ways we are moving forward. Excuse me again. I do hope that we can move forward through joy and happiness as well, which is why we drink a lot, which is why we do drugs. There are many ways to skin a cat, as they say. One way is definitely Islam. I testify to it. And I always feel grateful when the holy month of Ramadan starts, because it's such a beautiful month. When you approach a challenge as a beautiful experience, then you can profit from it. You can benefit from it. You can actually enjoy it. The worst thing that we can do to ourselves is attribute these adjectives, good or bad, to an experience or a person. It stops that experience, it stops that person from being what they are supposed to be. We cannot predict the outcome of anything that is happening in our life. We simply should just enjoy the ride, even if it's a negative one. Imagine saying to a person, why don't you die happily? I have had so many problems with this. Imagine being in a jail and waiting to be executed with a smile. One of the greatest songs ever written by our Romani musicians in former Yugoslavia was actually sang in a train car going to a concentration camp. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. A lot of songs that I do are about that. They are about rape. They are about murder. They are about genocide, yet we sing and dance to them. That is the beauty of our humanity. And the future is definitely going to be beautiful, but we just have to get there. We have to accept each other for who we are and let everybody make their own decisions, not judge them. Try to encourage them. You know, if somebody decides to actually observe the holy month of Ramadan, I will support them fully. I will be there for them, and I will try not to, eat in front of them, drink in front of them. But at the same time, the true people, the true religious people who do this for themselves. They are not swayed by my drinking or by my eating. And again, respect to that. This particular episode just touches briefly on Islam, on Ramadan, and excuse me, I just felt I should share a little bit of my own past and my own present. The future remains to be seen. Nobody knows what happens there. I will continue posting these random episodes about random things, and eventually all of them will make sense, and they will create that one picture of one person who happens to be Eldin. Eldin is millions of years old. Eldin is future, Eldin is present, Eldin is past, constantly changing, evolving, just like our own humanity. That's the beautiful part of it. We all have things to learn from each other, and we definitely have things to learn from people who are different or who behave differently from us. I don't think they are different because we are all the same, essentially, but they behave differently. We do believe that in tradition, in things that we have been doing for such a long time, there is so much unspoken truth. And sometimes we do have to blindly follow to get where we're supposed to get. So whether you decide to follow Islam, Christianity, or yourself, be good, be kind, don't be judgmental. Accept everything for what it is and enjoy. That's the key to everything. I love you all, and I wish you a blessed holy month of Ramadan, and I really, really hope you have a beautiful time with it and brings you peace and joy. I will try my best to observe it as well. Love you all. See you in the next episode.